This is Mongolian Mindset, and today me and Christian are going to be talking about the inferior function and the things we think about it in general. Um, the inferior function is on an axis with the hero function. So it creates a hole in your personality because you want to maximize the hero function. You're literally a slave to the hero function. I see it as like it's the God that like most people serve. Okay. So like Christians is internal logic, which is TI. So he serves logic so much that he creates a hole in himself for understanding how other people feel, and he feels insecure about that in ways. But we're gonna go over all of the other ones first. So like I'll get into myself into that as well. But you either have two paths, right? You have the people that run from their inferior function, which is most people because it's easier to swim with the current than against it. And then you have people like Christian who actually are aspiring, and they actually are bringing up their inferior function quite well. As Dario Nardi would say, completing the magic diamond. Okay, so I'm gonna get into it with myself first. My inferior function is introverted feeling. There's a lot of times where girls will tell me you need to be more vulnerable, you need to show your emotions, and my immediate response is, if they keep going, I'm gonna cuss them the fuck out. Okay, I do not like to be in that realm. I don't like to be anything close to it, and I'm not kidding. My best friend's an INFP. There's been multitudes of times where she wants to dig deeper in feelings, and I'm like, yo, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm hanging up, or shut the fuck up. Like I do not like digging into that realm. So I will be in the camp with somebody who runs away from their inferior function. Um, and I think for myself, it's a lot harder to actually embrace my inferior function because the world cares so much about my hero function. Okay, some people have it a little bit um, easier because the world doesn't value their function as much, but the world really values extroverted thinking. So it makes it a lot harder for me to do because a lot of times, whenever I partake in something with introverted feeling, I don't get the outcomes I want, um, or that per se. And if I'm not getting outcomes, I'm not going to be doing that for long. So we'll get into it like with my friend Jerry. He's an ENFJ. Jerry takes up all these odd fucking jobs so that he can run away from introverted thinking. He would pick up all these jobs that he can literally learn in 40 minutes, easy jobs, so that he could get away from actually having to think at all. So, like, you will see, like, a lot of people will run away from their inferior function, per se. You'll see INTJs, I swear, like, they could just, like, use extroverted sensing to open the door. They'll punch out all these calculations so they can get away from the fucking most minimum use of using extroverted sensing. Instead of just opening the fucking door, they're punching all these calculations and doing the math over here, reading 20 books, using all this brain power to get away from the most minimal use of SE. You'll see, like, my brother, every time I talk to that motherfucker, he's talking about his next fucking big plan to be a millionaire. I'm like, bitch, if you keep that shit up, you're gonna be fucking homeless. You keep running away from stability, you keep running away from comfort, chasing these next ideas or chasing all these ideas. Um, so we're gonna let Christian get into it because Christian is somebody who's actually has embraced his inferior function. So walk us through it, Christian.
All right. So for me, this is my thing, right? My thing is like if you have a weakness, in my opinion, it's beneficial to kind of explore that and improve that for two reasons, right? The first reason is in terms of efficiency, it's always better to attack things that you're weak at because that level of skill is so low, any sort of improvement goes a longer way than if you try to improve things that you're already good at. So, for example, like if I was bad, or let's take it to the gym, for example. Like if I had a weak body part, right, and I had a stronger body part. For example, for me, it's my chest, right, and my weakness would be my legs. If I just keep hammering my chest, I could get my chest maybe like 5% better. But if I switch it up and hammer on my legs instead, then I could get that 80% better way faster because it's my weakness, right? And it goes the same way when it comes to personality. It's like okay, you have these strong suits that are already probably going to be strong, or you have developed already to be strong, and you're doubling, tripling down on those things, and you're getting maybe like 5% back for it. The bigger ROI would be to explore, okay, what part of my personality is lacking? Because if you were to improve that aspect of your personality by even 10%, it could open a whole new aspect of reality for you, right? Because, you know, okay, like Mercer said, society values, the thinking functions because they're very good at producing, tangible results, material results. But when you go into a relationship, for example, when you find that you're lacking in those feeling functions, it's going to limit you a lot, and you're going to go through a lot of headache that you could have saved yourself if you just invested a little bit of time into getting those up.
Yeah, and one
And
thing I'll
I'm
say,
a,
wait, let me say
yeah,
something. One thing I'll say is that you'll see the ENTJ or the INTJ on their third or fourth fucking divorce. So what Christian's saying is a reality here, and that's
yeah.
just
So
scratching your head like, why? What's going on? Yeah, it's because of that.
yeah, and the thing is, like, if you're a person who's exploring these topics, if you're the one who is very interested in personality and opening your personality up, then you're doing yourself a disservice by not attacking those weaknesses. Because what is the point of studying personality and knowing all of these things if you're just going to entrench yourself further into your already established personality? Because what's going to happen is, okay, you read all these books and you learn about your personality, but you're falling into the same traps as other people who don't even read this stuff, right? So actually use what you've learned, what your weaknesses are more or less based on your personality, and go attack those and get those at least 10% better, because that 10% is going to get you 80% better results in life. Okay. That's my thing. So,
So what Christian's talking about is Pareto's principle here. It's called the 80-20 rule. So like what he's saying is like for your hero function, you pretty much already maxed it out, or the return on your investment is not that high. So if you keep maximum down or doubling down on your hero function, there's not much you can get back. But if you go and actually work on your inferior function, you'll be able to actually become less one-sided and actually get a lot more return from yourself in general. And that's going to help you get better outcomes at the end of the day. Um, Christian, can you detail like how you started working on extroverted feeling? Because I remember we used to, I'm gonna be honest,
yeah, go ahead.
the group that we have, like me, my older brother, Jared, and Christian, we're all dicks. If we find one thing you're weak at that we can exploit, we're going to do that. So all of us, me, Jared, and my brother are all very charismatic people. And Christian was lacking in that department, right?
Yeah.
So we used to fuck with him about it. And Christian responded.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could, funny enough, I can go back even further than that. Like, before even I met you guys, like, when I moved to the US, I was very, like, to myself. I was very, like, just individualistic, let's say. Like, I wouldn't speak to almost anyone, but of course, like, you can't live life that way. So I would attach to, like, groups that I didn't even like just so I could get by. Because it's like, remember, I just came into this country, I don't know anybody, right? And, like, I was very quiet, but I didn't necessarily like that about myself. I just didn't know really what to do about it, right? But then when I met Mercer, Mercer and his brother and Jared, like he said, our group is so, like,
Alpha.
was so aggressive that we would, like, attack each other on, like, things, right? And then Mercer would tell me, like, Christian, you're not charismatic, not charismatic. And he fought with me so much about it. I said, man, fuck this. Like, I'm just gonna do something about it. Right? And then I guess my answer to that, like most things, is just to brute force my way through it, right? Which is basically like, just put yourself in a hard situation, uncomfortable situation, and just do reps of that, right? So basically, I just decided that, okay, I'm gonna start talking to more people. I'm just gonna say hi to more people. And then I discovered, as you start doing that day in, day out, like, you get just better, because people just want to be acknowledged. That's what I realized. Like it doesn't take much for you to get a positive reaction from a person. They want to be seen. As long as you give them that, then they give you a positive reaction back. And then that's why I started working on that. And then not only that, um, through my relationships too, because like like Mercer said, like I could be very logical, and then even my even my girl now will get on me because if she comes at me with her feelings, I'll try to solve the problem like in a logical way or try to make her see it in a logical way. And she's like, "Oh, like I don't want to see it in a logical way. I just want to feel like heard and listened to, or what she calls supportive. Like she wants me to be supportive, right? Not solve the problem, just be supportive. And I'm trying to get better at that. I'm still bad at it, but like I said, 10% goes a long way. Like you're never gonna be the best at it because you're just not talented at it. But if you could just level that up 10 to 15%, that could open up a whole nother possibility in your life. So
Yeah. I mean, like we said, uh, I deem Christian Prodigy level ISTP, and that is a very notable rank to give anybody. Myself, I do not work on my inferior as much. I've talked to Thomas from time to time where I've tried and the shit failed, and I'm just like I'm never doing that shit again. But like I said, some people find it a lot easier to get towards theirs. Thank God I have an INFP best friend, so I've gotten a lot better with that over time. Especially versus like the Mercer that was like pre best friend, fucking terrible with that shit. I've gotten a lot better. And through that, I have because you're able to work on your inferior, you're able to work on like other functions like the demon and whatnot. Because if you can understand one, you can understand the other. So um I have gotten a little bit better at like understanding what I value sometimes, but it's not at the forefront. It's like a lot of times I feel like I'm on a chessboard, and that's how my life has always been. It's like on a chessboard. What's the best move? And when you do what's the best move all the time, you actually lose who you really are because it's this is the best move, that's the best move, this is the best move. You're like you don't even give a fuck. It's like that's the best move. It's the best move on the board. Whatever. What that's the most effective move. So me personally, my way of doing it is I have a best friend who has my inferior function in her hero spot, but when she does ramp on the introverted feeling too much, I am definitely out of there. I do not care to be in that realm, but like Christian says, you have to start working on that, and you'll see a lot of ENTJs later in life try to give back in a philanthropy type set like Ray Dalio or whatnot with his book, The Principles and things like that. But like I said, we all look kind of stupid sometimes trying to dodge using the minimal use of that inferior function. Like I said, with the intj, fucking coming up with all these calculation, reading 100 different books to use the minimum SE. Shelly does the shit all the time. I'm like, Shelly, just open the fucking door. Just open the fucking door. Um, but anything else you want to give out of there, Christian?
yeah, I think what I want to say is that this might seem like it's kind of superfluous or not that important or whatever, but it's like the stakes are actually higher than you think. It's like Mercer said, like you could be on your third divorce because of things like this, because you never address certain weaknesses that you probably should have addressed years ago, and you've just been kind of scared to do. Honestly, so the sooner you start, the better, because like I said, it's gonna take repetition. It's not like you're gonna get it better overnight. It's something that you have to kind of work on every day, you know, for a certain period of time, so that you can get it better. And and a lot of people who are missing, or like for example, like if you're bad with the feeling functions, for whatever reason, what I've discovered is that a lot of the time is because the people are missing the language required to express those feelings. Like if you're a more logical thinker, you have the thinking functions higher in your stack, you probably just need to add certain um, types of languages to a repertoire so that you can talk about them more completely, because like feelings feel like they're in the air, but if you have the proper language, then you can put them in a real sense and better address those feelings. And maybe I'll talk to Mercer about that some other time.
Well, I'll just say this as well. If you're always running away from something, then you're always on the run. Okay. And you always are thinking about the next time that situation comes up. But if you actually embrace that situation, then you feel a lot better about yourself because you accomplished that. And then that little muscle starts to build and you're like, I can handle this situation. Oh, I'm ready for this. And then your whole personality starts glowing together and then you're working on your way to become a demigod.
Yeah, it's when you complete the package, it just, like I said, it opens up another reality for you. It's like your possibilities are increased exponentially just because you improve that aspect of your life by just a little bit. Whereas before, all of those doors were closed to you because you were running away from that. So just keep
Like
that in mind.
just giving acknowledge just like that the guy who's on the run from the police, with and he's scared to go and he don't know he's been working a job for 10 years now, hoping that they don't pull his ID and fucking he is on the most wanted list. Don't let that person be you. Don't let the person be you. Like I said, I'm a start working on mine a little bit more. Give it more room in there. It is very tough for me. Like I said, mine is a little bit tougher because the world does reward me so much for my hero function, as opposed to like some other hero functions. The world doesn't
Yeah,
reward you so much about it.
I think for a person like you can't you have to see it as an investment. You're investing into the future because right now you're not gonna see really the positives of it because you're not in a relationship, you're not building like a family or whatever. But you got to think of it like I'm investing for my future wife and kids, essentially, because if I get better at this, then I could better, provide them support.
Well, it goes back to what I said is the ultimate goal for me is for when I'm older, that when my kids are grown, that they will actually come and actually want to hang out with me when they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
And a
ultimate
lot,
goal.
and a lot of the time, another tip I could give is like a lot of time I realize is you don't need words to kind of support somebody who's going through some sort of feeling. It's like you could just give them a hug. And I think like a hug sometimes is better than actually telling them how they could fix something.
I don't even want
That's
to,
been my secret weapon nowadays.
hey, I don't even
Nowadays
want
it's
to give
like,
people a hug. I swear to God, I mean, like it just
well,
feels
bro, you
good.
don't have a girlfriend, so why would you give them a hug? Who are you gonna give a hug to?
Well, I mean, you can see some random coworker sad or something, man. Like I just
Well,
like.
that's different. You can't just hug your coworkers. It's like
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, you just said that's your secret weapon, then.
yeah, but not with work coworkers. No, no, no. I'm talking about my girl. My girl. Like when
Oh,
she
damn, Christian, to see now that you get limited here, man. You should be expressing it to everybody, bro.
man, when it comes to coworkers,
If they're sad, you
it
don't hug
dep-
the Christian, huh?
I mean, it depends like what degree of sadness. Cause like, I mean, if they're really like crying, I can ask them how they're feeling and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the
That's
FE was
tough.
a little bit higher up. You know, Jerry want to hug everybody. Jerry wants to hug everybody. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said, boy, you want to hug everybody, don't you, bitch? Like you
yeah,
goddamn bitch. You want to hug everybody.
yeah.
But yeah,
But usually coworkers won't disclose all their feelings like that to you. Like not like that.
I just put you in a hypothetical situation that you failed. You showed just how limited your FE is.
Bro, that's hard. That's a hard situation. If a coworker's crying, I'm not gonna give him a hug because it's not my place. But
But what would Jerry do? What would Jerry do? Jerry would give them a hug.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Jerry would give them a hug, and he's extroverted feeling hero. Jerry would give them a hug. See, we just
Make
exposed how limited he was, ladies and gentlemen. We exposed him. Now,
I'm just saying nowadays that's dangerous. Just be careful with that.
yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Well, that's all we got on that. Just a quick little video there. And